Spoiler warning, this video will contain spoilers for the first 7 seasons or 136 episodes of Pokémon Horizons, including episodes released in Japan and not yet dubbed in English or other languages. If you haven't watched, please turn back now to avoid end spoilers. The new season of Pokémon Horizons, Wonder Voyage, premieres in Japan on May 22nd. While the final episode of Rising Again wrapped up the main storyline we've been following since the series' beginning, there are still some unanswered questions lingering. Let's go over them. First, who is or was Salt? And where is he now? I think this is possibly the biggest hanging question in the series. We know only a few things about Salt. In episode 129, we got confirmation that he was Alt's father. In episode 107, Friends as Two, Me and You, we saw a flashback to when Alt was very young, and Salt gave him his Dragonite in a Dusk Ball. Also in episode 129, we learned from Team Dragon Rampage that Salt was a renowned dragon tamer. When they saw Alt using the Dragonite in a Dusk Ball, they initially accused him of copying Salt. They also recounted that Salt was, quote, the legendary great subterranean adventurer. They shared stories about when Drillbur nationwide were moved to tears by his relentless devoted digging, and another about battling in a lowland Doug trio until becoming friends and forming a Doug quartet. At this point, Alt did not know his father's name and only got it confirmed by circumstantial evidence Team Dragon Rampage knew. Before that, in episode 127, when the protagonists met the Elite Four, Alt sent out his Dragonite, and Hassel and Dragonite had a moment where they recognized each other. Then, Hassel offered to be Alt's training opponent. After Hassel's victory, he complimented Alt, then said, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so Hassel knew both Salt and Dragonite. That's everything we know. But there is one more piece of evidence. In episode 113, Mega Evolution Alt, Emma revealed that Alt lived with her at the Looker Bureau for some time after she found out he was living on the streets, just like she used to before Looker took her in. So the hanging question is, how did Alt end up on the street? Did something happen to Salt that forced him to abandon his kid? Furthermore, we don't know anything about Alt's mother at all. Who was she? Is she still with Salt? And the biggest hanging question, is Salt dead? Bits of Salt's backstory and Alt's backstory have been slowly trickling in for a while, and I expect these will eventually be resolved. 2. Where are Roy's parents? In episode 62, A New Song for Fuecoco, we learned that Roy's parents were sailors. They left Roy behind with his grandfather, that is Roy's dad's dad, when they had to leave for a long voyage. So where did they sail to? Are they safe? Will we see them again? 3rd, where did Freed go when he was in space? In episode 131, Freed met with Yanga, his former research junior at Exceed, and gave him data on how Laqueum affects Pokemon. When Yanga asks where Freed got the samples for his research, he replies, Mount Pericarp, and also space. Somewhere in space, Freed found more samples of Laqueum. Where did he find them? The implication that there is more Laqueum in space makes it a possibility that we aren't actually done with the Laqueum story, because even though Pagogo was able to eliminate the Laqueum core, there is still more in space that Spinel or maybe the other explorers could search for. 4th, what was the Laqueum core? The final 2 episodes raised as many questions about Laqueum as they answered. We saw the Laqueum core awaken and exhibit a low-level reactive intelligence. Who taught or programmed the intelligence of the Laqueum core? We also saw the core subsume Spinel. What a strange scene. It begs a ton of questions, difficult to put words to. 5th, how much Laqueum remains? The Laqueum core was destroyed by Pagogo, but as Spinel said in episode 135, Laqueum has already been dispersed worldwide in the form of strong spheres. You're far too late to matter whatsoever. Do the strong spheres still work? Exceed has offered a recall for them in the end, but will everyone give them up? 6. What happened to Indy and Rubina? Spinel's left and right hand said they're unsure what to do after his defeat. We saw Spinel wander into the forest after Umbreon. Did they follow him? Or did they leave when Humber called for the explorers to leave Laqua? Are they still loyal to Spinel? Were they also arrested? Could they help orchestrate Spinel's escape and a revenge plot? 7. The Explorer's Mega Rings. 3 new characters were revealed to have Mega Rings in the final 2 episodes. Amethio, Coral, and Sidian. It's likely Coral and Sidian got their Mega Rings from the same source as Kals, who showed hers earlier with her Mega Metachamp. But what about Amethio's? With Zygarde released at the end, now Amethio doesn't have any known Pokemon capable of Mega Evolution. Does he have another Pokemon we don't know about? When Amethio's Mega Ring started glowing during the final battle, he seemed surprised. Did he know Zygarde could Mega Evolve? Apparently Gibeon did, as evidenced by his ghost reaching out to Amethio, but did he show Amethio before that? If not, it could imply Amethio has his Mega Ring for a different Pokemon that he knows can Mega Evolve. 8. Where is Looker? At the Looker Bureau, Emma has a photo of Looker on the wall, confirming he exists in this canon. What is he up to? 9. Who are these people in the trailer for Wonder Voyage? We see 3 brand new characters in the trailer. One is Navi, a new major character. The poster seems to imply she is the owner of a Ditto. Is that actually true? Ditto recently played a major role in Pokopia. Is there some connection there? The other 2 new characters are lookalikes of Liko and Dot, who are trainers of each form of Mega Raichu. Who are they, and why are they copying Liko and Dot's styles? 10. Why were other Pokemon games referenced in the poster? On the Wonder Voyage poster, the background is divided into 8 slices. The top 3 feature legendary Pokemon. The bottom 5 all have possible references to Pokemon games. On the left, a roaming form Gimmighoul is in front of a Pokestop, obviously a reference to Pokemon Go. In the bottom left corner, Captain Pikachu is scoring a goal, referring to Pokemon Unite. Next to that, we see Snorlax next to the same pot used for cooking in Pokemon Sleep. Then it's Captain Pikachu with Ditto. Maybe this is supposed to represent Pokopia. And finally, on the bottom right, Mega Lucario Z fights against Mega Phalanx. If the other panels are all game references, then maybe this is to represent Pokemon Champions. Will the new arc of Horizons be making any or all of these games canon to the anime? These are all the questions I could think of. What are you wondering about the new season of Pokemon Horizons? Post your questions down in the comments and I'll tell you what I think about them. Thanks so much for watching. The new season comes out on May 22nd and I'm really excited. Alright, thanks everyone. Take care. Not too shabby.